Welcome to Things Invest, where we talk about investing, finance, and professional development. As a recording time of 8:05 a.m. on the Eastern Time, Ethereum country $3,908, down about 3.26% so far. As you can see clearly on the overall crypto market, it seems like we are correcting slightly, right, from the news that got broken out yesterday from Dr. Fauci and Joe Biden. Seems like we need to step up our game on a federal front, and also with respect to a potential mandate for people that are travel domestically via flights, obviously, to have mandatory vaccinations prior to their flights. So with that affectation, obviously, whenever you hear anything along the line regulatory dynamics, pandemic related, it kind of stir into the pot of the stew that we have in front of us, selling us back down from the previous resistance level of the 4,000, which we know, right? The 4,000 is not a resistance level. It's just a flat number people sustain above. But the real level that we need to watch out for, which we can see clearly on the chart, is the 4,158. However, we understand that the bull flag is still in play based on the frame of reference that we see in front of us right now. If you look closely onto the chart, you could see that we're still staying within the orange wedge, the slice of orange that I've cut for us, right? And right now we are contemplating to stay above the $3,843, which is technically the next level of resistance. And I looked into my computer and my phone and various different crypto apps earlier this morning. It seems like we did hit there early this morning around like 3:30 a.m., 4:30 a.m. when I was like obviously dead asleep. I just woke up right now and I immediately put myself together so I don't look like a bum. At the same time, got my large cup of coffee. You can see I switched my cup today from like a mini size to a mega extremely jumbo size coffee today, and I pretty much just drank half of it already, and I like it straight up, without anything, no sugar, no milk. It's like a rocket fuel, if you may. And right now my verbal, I guess my jaw muscle is still like working out right now because it's hard for me to talk and articulate early in the morning when my whole body is just try to get refueled up, I guess. And I'm right now, I'm warming up right now, but you'll see that sometimes like even some of my subscribers have told me that, hey, I can tell when you are speaking in the morning versus when you're speaking in the afternoon versus speaking in the evening time. It's because of my energy level and because of my articulation, which is something I noticed, that speaking requires some warm up. This is something I'm learning over time. This is, I guess, what news reporters, or obviously like the anchors that you see on TV, have to face every single day, right? And with respect to overall crypto market, it is relatively red. However, on the equity market, we're relatively green at the moment, which is quite interesting. And I was looking into more about the micro affectation, about why is it such an opposition. Obviously, sector rotation is still going on among the hedge fund community. The crypto fund community, seems like they're not as prominently doing the window dressing as in comparisons to equity. Seems like there are a lot more buying pressure on the equity side of the house. And in addition to that, I was looking into some of the news article that came out. It's kind of very opposite in comparisons to yesterday. Right? Like I could have sworn like 24 hours, not even 24 hours ago, like 12 hours ago, we heard from Joe Biden, we heard from Dr. Fauci that we need to step up our COVID quarantine and obviously vaccination effort. And today I see the news on CNBC and on Bloomberg and on Fox News saying that U.S. officials recommend a shorter COVID isolations and quarantine. It's like seems like we're like speaking on two sides of the mouth. And in addition to that, I also have seen some news that popped up from Bazinga about 10 hours ago, talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin fails to impress. And this one analyst, and his name is Michael Pop. I don't know who he is, but he's really vocal on Twitter. He predicts a massive crash in 2022, and it will flush everyone out. I don't know how he can predict the future, but we'll dive into the technicals in a bit to decipher what he's really talking about. But interesting, I guess. Another one last news that I want to just mention here is on CNBC 17 hours ago. It's talk about Bitcoin hitting $1 trillion in market cap, and basically, and also other news talking about Elon Musk's tweets around Dogecoin, which subsequently allowed Dogecoin to catch up in terms of market cap as well. And some recap news talk about what happened this past Christmas holiday and the Boxing Days. Okay, so let's just dive right into the technicals now. So respect to recording time of 8:11 a.m. on Eastern Time, Ethereum coin trading $3,914, that about 3.11% so far. Clearly, we are still in the wedge. We're still within it, and we are contemplating, more of an up and down type of roller coaster ride. Obviously, we have been tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, right? And right now, we're just basically levitating above the 3,850, which some of you guys might ask, like, hey, is this a good time for us to buy? I think 3,850 is a logical level to buy. And do we see crashing further? We are at the relatively depleted level, the 43 out of 70. So I wouldn't say that it's not an ideal. I think it's a fair level to incur risk. Again, right, that's a fair level, like I identified in the list, right? Obviously, if we go down to the 3,650, 3,475, which I think is highly unlikely, yeah, absolutely. I think rank anywhere from below the green line is fair game. And respect to Bitcoin right now, they say massive crash, right? Something along the line what they said with respect to Bitcoin. And I think if I read into the article a little bit more, saying 20K soon in 2022, which I don't understand how that can be possible. Right now is selling down from the 50K, and again, 50K is not a level of consolidation. 50K is just a flat number. People psychologically want to buy it because it's a nice number to look at, right? I get it. So right now we're contemplating going down to the 47,893 or the 45, which is the next level of resistance from here, right? We are at the 44, so in terms of momentum, it's comparable to Ethereum. So right now, it's not terrible to incur risk. I think anywhere from 47 to below is still fair game from here. And just to paint out the pictures of can we crash, right? I would say unlikely because of the fact that we are not at a very overbought level, at least and not anytime soon. I think for us to crash very, based on what this guy is saying, Michael Van Pop, right? How it would logically make sense would be for us to surge in basically the first half of the year, right? And it will be a massive surge, right? Ideally breaking all-time high all over again, which I think we have a real shot of doing so. And then as the whales start to rotate, and I think as we have the equity side with respect to the COVID subside a little bit more, and economies start to revive a little bit more, interest rates start to be a little bit more normalized, and quantitative tapering becomes more normalized. It feels more back into normal cadence now that we're kind of up and away all over again. I think people will start to flee away from the safe haven assets and flee back more into the equity side when businesses are booming all over again. And that could technically translate into a sell-off. And I think crypto should see some positive pressure in Q1 and Q2. I don't see why it wouldn't be, knowing the fact that we're relatively depleted. For us to keep selling down to crash to 20K, that would just not be have no sense at all. It would just not be logical anyways. Knowing the fact, unless we are drilling oil, and unless all corporate investors are selling collectively on a loss, but that would not make no sense. If you are a whale, would you be doing something that irrational for no particular reason? Unless you are in huge default, right? Like China, for example, with the Evergrande real estate. Unless you have to pay tax like Elon Musk, right? But is that something that is the case? No, I don't think so, right? So I don't know what this guy is talking about, but again, I mean, he might have a perspective. So again, we read it with a grain of salt, right? But I could be wrong too, right? Ultimately. And with respect to Dogecoin, anywhere from the 16 to below is still better. Right now, the 47 is again an okay level, not the best, right? Cardano is at the 150. Right now, contemplating, do we go back to 173 or do we go back down to 145? I think the likelihood of actually going 145 or below to 134 to 120 is much more logical, knowing the fact that we're still at the 55 of 70. And then at the Solana, which is at 190, we are selling back down from basically trying to break 200. We broke 200 to 204. But right now you can see clearly the momentum is reversing back down right now with 51 out of 70. So we're going to sell back down. We're going to sell back down to ideally at the first level of consolidation 160, which is the first level. But 155, 133 to 113 is still better level for us. XRP is selling down right now, 88 cents. I like 88 cents, to be honest with you. Anywhere from 88 to 78 is still a good level. You can see clearly we are reversing down right now because of the overall market, the 47 out of 70. So, you know, still we have some more room to go down to actually. Polkadot is down about 9%. Anywhere from the 25 to below is still better level. You can see clearly the momentum is already shifting downwards. So not the best, not the worst. I think we have better times coming soon. ALGORAND down about 5% right now. Same thing. You can see whatever goes up really, really fast comes down just as fast. We're reversing down right now, 52 out of 70. So anywhere from 135 to below would be better. Shiba Inu, again, same thing. You know, 2,900 below would be better. So I would start buying at 2,900 to 900 in that frame. That's where I would dollar cost average at. MagTag is selling down right now. We cannot break, obviously, $3. We couldn't even break 295. So you could see how weak we were when we got to the top. We are selling down right now. We're gonna sell back down to firstly the $2 mark, obviously, right? Because, well, I would say 250 because it's a flat number, and then $2, and then, you know, but those would be like relatively weak levels, right? So ideally 175 to 143 would be much more logical. AVAX up about 1.4%. 81 to 60 still better levels. Luna, I would say anywhere from the 62 all the way to the 52 to 45 would still be much more logical level for us. It seems like we are slowly forming a depth cross at the 62 out of 70 right now. And with respect to elrond, you can see that we are clearly selling down right now. I think the level that we're at right now is not terrible, you know, and the next resistance level they would go down to somewhere around like 235. And then if we break 235, we'll have a long way to go down to somewhere around 197. But I think 200 is already a fair mark based on just like the flat numbers. We're relatively depleted right now, so it's not terrible in terms of obviously you would not. It will be just heart, you know, gut wrenching if you bought at the 539 when we're all time high, right? We have been selling down so significantly already. So I would say we're clearly nearly the bottom right now in terms of the market dynamics right now. In respect to risk management level, these are levels identified so far. These are revised and up to date as of today. We're basically a couple days away from New Year's already, so it's quite interesting that we are already there. Feels like it's already, you know, yesterday was just New Year's for some reason. Even though it sounds crazy, but it's only 365 days ago if you think about it. It's not that long ago if you think about it, right? Yeah, so time is definitely flying by. But really appreciate you for joining me every single day. And let me know if you have any specific questions. Sorry, I covered this. And yeah, feel free to take this as a frame of reference. I made some more revisions here and there just to make sure that we're tying up a little bit more based on some of the latest coverage that I have. So let me know how it goes. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday as well. And stay tuned for coming up. Take care.